County A to help, and then County B will be Los Angeles. That way we can works better. Okay, so we start here. Let's pull this in. Let's. I'll keep switching forth and back because that's the only way. So as soon as identify a voter that exists, voter must be actively eligible to vote in a mock election. Voter should not be confidential. Okay, let's not consider that. Voter on County A, voter issued VBM ballot. So let's go here. Here is it. Yeah. Okay. So voter has issued VBM on Alpine. Wonderful. That's our beginning. Then let's move on to our second part of the process. Voter on County B, voter registers on County B. Let's go back there. Okay. Next one. Upon issuance of a CVR ballot, receives green light, issues CVR, and voter returns on the same day. On County B, right? In County B. So CVR vote on LA with green light. Next one. Okay, so receives a green light that counts the CVR. So we are here. Okay, website shows CVR counted. We don't see that. Vote on County A, voter in local EMS is canceled. So let's say voter is canceled in Alpine.
Katie, can I show you a really quick one?
Sure, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I mean, we're basically trying to summarize. It summarizes into just a few, and I posted the VoteCal guidance document. Okay, so here, let me just show you guys. It all boils down to color, right? We're trying to determine what color to show. Okay, so let me share my screen. This is the guidance document. This is at a very high level. So it captures voter already cast an accepted ballot, okay, which means they have voted. Then red light. If they already voted, show a red light. Yellow light, voter has outstanding messages, okay. Forget about it. So there's outstanding messages. When you're issuing a ballot, if there are outstanding messages, show an yellow light. No red or yellow, then go proceed. I mean, that's kind of at a high level that they're providing. So how do we determine that somebody has already voted is basically what we're trying to do, right? And then the next one that they're going is issuing and counting. Those are the two things that happens, right? You see what I'm saying, Kaiki?
Steve, I was trying to work through the test case here, but yeah, I guess your explanation is more summarized.
Yeah, and then for that implementation, I want to keep it really simple. This is the test case, that user story that we implemented. Remember, this is the one that we worked out, and this is the one that currently is implemented.
Yes.
Okay, and the guidance document is here. So this is the logic that it's going off of. Voter found, right? And voter already voted, or voter has a return ballot, or voter is not eligible. So how do we determine voter already voted? Currently, we are just looking internally. All we need to do right now is look and do a get call through that endpoint that you guys have in VoteCal, and then go from there. So you're just combining, either you make this implementation separately for VoteCal and then determine what light VoteCal tells, and then prioritize that, and then go to the next step of, keep the same implementation that we have. But essentially the logic is the same. Where you get the data is what is different. How do you determine somebody has voted? If you guys have the endpoint, get the endpoint and do a get call, and I'll show you. It's the VPH. It needs to have a VPH for this voter for this election. So you'll have to narrow it down and then say, does it have a voter participation history for this election? Then that's called, then that is voted. And then there's that same call also gives you ballots that are there for the election across the county, and you can compare it by election code. And this is all logic. I am assuming this is already implemented in other screens, right? We cannot change the logic, right? This logic is the same logic for CVR. It's the same logic for VBM. It's the same logic for everywhere. So, so how we show the green light, red light is the same. Is that right, Kaiki?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Ticket number, I'll just post the ticket number. So a couple of things you guys need to answer is, what is the endpoint doing in the other implementation, right? Well, how are you using that data from VoteCal in the other implementation? A. B, what information is coming from VoteCal when you do the get call? So if you show me what are the, I know it's a trimmed down. We used to do a get voter by ID, and it will give you a lot more information, but they didn't like that, and we had to go with a different endpoint, a specific endpoint, which was more performant on VoteCal side. So if you guys tell me about those two information, we can determine how do we want to go next. So it really doesn't matter if a voter moved in or moved out. It really doesn't matter in this red light case. If a voter is canceled, should we pull that voter up or not? It's a separate user story from us showing the lights. You see what I'm trying to differentiate from, right, Kaiki? Because the search itself is a separate user story, right? How do we issue a ballot for eligible? That is a separate user story for like searching. And what should be returned? This label that we implemented, if you remember, like this is to say that who should we be pulling up, right? This one is talking about who should be. That's a separate user story than the red light user story, the red light, green light user story. So we can separate them for the conversation's sake.
Okay, so we will need to verify how that validation is being done on the CVR or provisional details, and use the same logic for that for the ADP. Okay, we will need to review it, because my idea was I wanted to show you that in the voter history that we can retrieve from VoteCal, if it has other counties, my idea was to display the red light because it already has voted in another county. But I think we will need to do.
No, that makes sense. You're on the right track. I don't know if you are able to reuse the same, implementation from other detailed screen, but you are on the right track. And I mean, this is what you're returning, right, can you show me what that endpoint returns? What's the name of the endpoint?
So can you log into this page? See, there is the, let me see, is the get botcal border, and you send the SOS border ID, and inside we have the
you guys are
the
doing
border participations.
Oh my goodness! So you are doing the get voter by ID.
No, so I checked that one. I didn't review what can we use. I just know that we need to only get the voter participation. So we need to. So for this one, it's good to use the get by voter ID because it's the whole view and we need the whole object. But inside the result, there is the voter participations. If you expand on the right side, the results, it should be at the bottom, yeah, the voter participations. For example, yeah, you can see this one, and this is information that Botcal sent us.
Yeah, and this is fine. The only problem is there is a dedicated endpoint that I had provided, which will also tell you guys to the yellow light scenario, where it's saying voter has outstanding messages. I don't know if you're checking locally for this condition. Are you checking locally for this condition for if it has outstanding messages?
It should everything be using the SOS ballot alert from Botcal. So if Botcal send us the list of codes, and we should display it based on the response.
Well, it doesn't show you the list. I need to go and pull up the documentation, but if you happen to have the name of the exact name of the endpoint in Botcal, not our side, right? This is our translation of get Botcal voter. If you have the Botcal endpoint, I can check the documentation on what you guys are using, and we can use this as a design session to just like, ideally, what I don't want you guys to do is, go back and do more analysis and we return to it. While we have the necessary people, we can just go, what's the next step? Let's see what the endpoint you guys are using, right? And I can check the document, Botcal document. Yeah, I don't know. Is it under voter? I'm pretty sure it's under voter integration service.
Okay, I'm trying to find one that only voter participation. Okay, so the let's see. Insert other county voter participation. No. Update voter participation.
Either it's in here or
get
voter, or it's under either there or it's under election integration service. Because I remember get participation by election, isn't it?
Get participation by election. Let me search for it.
Election time. Okay, returns VBM ballot, provisional ballot, both CVR and regular ballot, and voter participation, including ballot created date.
Okay, yes, there is an endpoint for that, but we will need to make it public because the only one that is accessing that is recurrent jobs, background jobs. But yeah, there is a call.
How is that possible? I mean, so in the CVR ballot, What endpoint are we using for CVR ballot validation, the adjudication? The icon for VoteCal, what endpoint are we using in the integration service?
Let me check. In our site is called the Get SOS Ballot Alert, but I don't know what's it calling.
Very good, very good. Okay. Then get ballot alert.
Validate statewide ballots. One moment. Let's see. Okay, so what this one does? Get SOS border ID, get VoteCal border. VoteCal LOB service. Validate statewide ballots.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
What are you searching for, Sif?
I was just going to, and if you want to share your screen, I'm just going to see what endpoint and how you guys are using it.
Sure. So the endpoint, let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so when we go into the details for the ballot, there is no, when I click this one, yeah, get SOS ballot alert, and what that method does, get SOS ballot alert, execute VoteCal integration call. This method validates statewide ballots. It looks like it's retrieving the SOS border ID, the VoteCal border, the VoteCal election type ID, the VoteCal current user county, and vote by mail ballots, and is filtering from the response of VoteCal the vote by mail ballots that match any of these filters.
Okay.
Where
Yeah,
the
that's
election
perfect.
county is different. For the VoteCal of current user county, the election date is the same, the election type ID is the same, and the election code is the same. The same process for provisional and then VoteCal voter participations. So in this call, it looks like it's retrieving. Yeah, it's like we saw previously. Do I have it open? This one. Yeah, it looks like it's retrieving this information. This one that has the vote by mail ballots, the voter participation, yeah, and also the provisional ballots that in this one I don't think we are sending.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In this case, he doesn't have it, but yeah, we are sending. And based on that is determining the color icon.
Perfect. Can you go to that code and then what is that? What endpoint on the Vocale entity? What endpoint is this being directed to on the Vocale integration service? Vocale LOV data service. Go register.
This one. Border registration client get border.
Is it get border?
Yeah, it should be get border.
Yeah.
Execute Vocale get border assign. Yeah, base channel get border assign should be the endpoint from Vocale. Get border assign.
No. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, so we're not using the get participation, which should just give us exactly that information.
Yeah, so we are using that one but for other processes. So like I mentioned here in this next, the one that is most of the left side, was it this one? I think define, yeah, this one, get participation by election. Yeah, so this one we have it, but it was being used in some other processes, but not directly. We will need to create an endpoint to access this information directly.
Okay, well, that's okay. If we're just using get voter, let's try and see if we can reuse at least all the methods that we have already implemented, the filtering and getting the information right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to review the difference between the endpoints, which one we should use, and based on that, we will need to update the ADP process to.
Yeah, if you're using the get voter is fine. It's just a little bit heavier than get voter by participation, but I don't want to change any of the implementation. If we are consistent with get voter async, then let's just use that for all the places, so that if we need to change it for some reason because of performance with Vocale or Vocale complaints we're doing too many get call on election day, and they prefer us to use something else like the voter participation, then we can change it in one place. Where it's telling you to the validate statewide ballot, whatever that endpoint that was, that method, particularly that method, then we can refactor it. But because what the result it comes back is the same thing. It's the same IList you will get. So down the road, if we don't want to call, get Vocale voter and we need to call something else, we can refactor it. The results will all be the same. It's the same IList.
Yeah. Yeah, and something else that we realize is that so it looks like the process is heavier for the upper environments. We were reviewing it, and I'm going to help Jasem to solve. So we are going to do like a upgrade to that method, so it doesn't have issues with performance.
Oh, don't pick that up at this point. Just prioritize, like I said, right? You're stopping for a quick gas. Don't open up the car and start fixing all the issues.
yeah, but if they are not going to be able to test it on the upper environments, then it's going to fail. But yeah, so okay, we have gotten good at this, I think, for all the experience that we have and the issues that we have gotten into. But I think, after reviewing the method, we are going to be able to quickly improve it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Archie.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
I
Hello,
think that
thank
will
you.
be it. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, bye.